Hey everyone, welcome back to the kitchen. I am Rob, this is Food, Wine, and Whiskey, and tonight we are making pizza once again. We're making a style of pizza that, man, I've really come to enjoy quite a bit. And what I really like about this and why I think people should probably, this style of pizza should make more often is it's made in the home oven. You don't have to have a pizza oven to make this style of pizza. And tonight we're making grandma pie, grandma style pizza, and I'm using a Lloyd's pan to make my grandma pizza. You can use a sheet pan if that's what you have, it'll work just fine. Lloyd's pans are specifically made for styles of pizza. I'm not going to get into the type of material, but it is a special type of material that's made so that the heat and the cooking is really good in these pans. So if you want to go out and get a pan, Lloyd's is the way to go. The pan I'm using tonight is 16 by 12. That's a very common size for a grandma pizza. The other one that you'll see a lot is the 14 by 14. Either one of those are great. The dough that I'm going to use in this is going to be 600 grams to a 600 gram dough ball to fill this pan and make this pizza. All right, the dough we're using for grandma style pizza is a 70% hydration dough. This is all-purpose flour. You can use bread flour if you want. I went all-purpose. I did start this dough with a poolish first, 24-hour poolish, and then rolled that into a bulk fermentation for 72 hours, and this is what we have right now. I've punched this down twice as it's kind of grown in this container, and I brought it out this afternoon about 3 hours ago, 3.5 hours ago, to let it get to room temperature, and when I did, it was punched back down to here, and as you can see, it's still living well. It's activated and growing up the sides of this container. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut off 600 grams of this dough, get it kind of prepared and ready to go into our pan. Once we get it in the pan, we're going to start getting all our other ingredients together and ready to go. Okay, this dough, I've made a big enough batch, and you can see, the bubbles and everything that are in here, how this has grown. You can look here and see how smooth the top of this dough is. So, I'm really happy with the results of this dough. It looks really, really good. So we're just going to get a little oil down here, and then we're just going to bring this out onto the surface. Got a dough scraper here. I'll tell you what, if you've never had grandma pizza, pizza in general is just really fun to explore. That's kind of my hashtag, is keep exploring, whether it's food, wine, or whiskey. I just think anytime you get into anything, right? A burger, you don't want the same toppings on the cheese. Well, maybe you do, but I hope you don't want the same toppings on a cheeseburger every time you get one. Sometimes it's fun to change it up, change up the cheese, change it from bacon to whatever. But we're just going to kind of get this dough. Look at the air that's in this. This is looking good. I'm going to pop those. All right, that looks really good. So I'm going to turn my scale on. Let's get 600 grams is what we're shooting for. See how close I can get. I think I'm a little light. I think I'm about 450. No, look at that. I'm at 620, so pretty doggone close. Look, I'm better than I thought I was. Okay, I've got a bowl and some semolina flour. We're going to put this in. What we're going to do is we're going to take our dough ball and just very carefully put her in, and then get this top and bottom. You always want to keep your top of your dough being the top of your dough, the bottom of your dough being the bottom of your dough. Now, some people might use flour, and that's fine. This is going to cook at a lower temperature, so flour's okay. I've gotten used to semolina because I use it all the time out in the pizza oven. So I really like it, and I think it'll still be fine cooking in here. So what we're going to do is something that I saw another YouTube channel do with a grandma style pizza, and that's roll it out. So let me get my rolling pin. We're gonna roll this out a little, kind of get it to the shape of this pan as close as we can, and then we'll get ready to put it in and we'll start working on the other ingredients. All right, got my rolling pin. We're just going to try to roll this out kind of in the shape of the pan, if we can. All right, that looks pretty good. Once we pick this up and go to put it in the pan, it's going to tighten back up. So let's do this. Let's get some olive oil in our pan. We're gonna be pretty generous with the olive oil. This is going to kind of, if you think about Detroit style, this is going to help the bottom of that crust just really crisp up and almost fry and be really nice on the bottom. We're gonna get a nice crust on the bottom. All right, let's take this and we're going to get this in the pan like so. We're gonna let this, we're gonna cover it up, let it rest for about another 15-20 minutes while we get our cheese and our sauce together and ready to go. Then this should loosen up where we can kind of stretch it out to the corners. All right, for the sauce, I do an uncooked sauce. I know a lot of times on grandma pizzas and ones like this, Detroit, a lot of folks will use a cooked sauce. I've tried it both ways. I prefer a non-cooked sauce, so that's what we're gonna do tonight. Very simply, I love Cento crushed tomatoes is what I'm using. A little bit of Italian seasoning. Some people will just go oregano. That's completely up to you. Some olive oil, a little salt, and a little tomato paste. That's it for our sauce, so let's put that together. Okay, sauce goes in. I love these little containers because I'll be able to use this sauce for other things if I want, in the next few days. Or I'll freeze it. We're gonna go with a little seasoning. All right, I did forget one other thing. I like to put some crushed red pepper flakes, a little spice, a little heat. Let me get that. All right, little crushed red peppers. Little olive oil. Then just to help it thicken up just a little bit, so we'll do some tomato paste. About 1.5 teaspoons. And then all we're going to do is come in with our immersion blender. All right, that's it for the sauce. Pretty simple. I mean, this is my pizza sauce that I'll use for all the pizzas that I make. So uncooked. If you want to cook, you can do that. But I like the fresh, kind of bright, the acidity of the tomatoes not being reduced and cooked out a little bit. So, by the way, just realized I forgot to put a little salt in here. So we're just going to put a couple of good pinches of salt, and I'll mix this up with the spoon. That'll get in there nice and easy. And get that ready to go. All right, on to the cheese. We got some whole milk, low moisture mozzarella, and I like to grate it myself. It's just fresher. It's going to melt better. It's not going to have that coating on it like cheese in a bag does. But if that's your only option, by all means, it will work. By the way, the pizza we're making tonight is going to be simply a spicy Italian with some fresh basil on it. We'll put the basil on at the end, so it's just going to be whole milk mozzarella on the bottom. We're going to dollop some of this sauce all over the top, top it with a little Italian sausage, bake it, bring it out, put a little fresh basil on it, we'll be ready to go. So I'm making 2 pizzas tonight. One is the one I just told you about, the spicy sausage and basil. The other one is just going to be a simple pepperoni with a drizzle of that hot honey over the top. That's our 2 pies my son and I will share tonight. So let's get ready to check this dough in just a few minutes, see if it's kind of proofed up a little bit more where we can stretch this out to the corners. I think that's looking pretty good, but I'm gonna give it just a couple more minutes. It'll bake just fine like this, but I'm gonna give it a couple more minutes. I think we can get this a little bit closer to the edge. We'll come right back. I have my oven on convection at 450. If you have that, I think that's the best way to cook these pizzas in these pans. If you don't, throw the oven on to 475 and it'll be just fine. Okay, first thing we're gonna do is get our cheese down. We're gonna go crust to crust. Okay, that looks pretty good. We're gonna dollop our sauce on next. All right, we're gonna take our sauce and we're just gonna kind of put little spots all over. I mean, you can try to make it uniform if you want. I just kind of where my eyes take me. But that looks pretty good to me. That is a fugly masterpiece is what I call that in my house. Hope you're okay with that. Boom, one more right there. All right, then I got some Italian sausage, spicy, hot Italian sausage. We're gonna just pinch some of this and get us some little spots to put this in. Some pretty big pieces I'm putting on there. Okay, I'm gonna go a little Italian seasoning on the top because I like it, optional, do it if you want to. We're gonna give it a little squirt of olive oil. And we're gonna throw this in the oven for about 12 to 15 minutes. I'll check it at 12, see how it's looking. Probably at about 6.5 minutes, I'm gonna flip it around, turn it to the other way, so the back will become the front, you know what I'm saying. So, into the oven we go. All right, pizzas are done. We're gonna finish them off, a little hot honey on the pepperoni, but we're gonna go a little basil, just kind of cut up all over on the Italian sausage. Then we're gonna do a little hot honey on our pepperoni. Gotta like hot honey with your pepperoni. So I'm a little generous. It's gonna be a little sticky, but that's all right. It's gonna be delicious. All right, that's our 2 grandma style pizzas. I think this is one of the best pizza styles you can make at home. All right, thanks everybody for watching this episode, Food, Wine, and Whiskey. We will see you on the next one.